And I'm Jen.
And we're SpielMill.
And I would say this is our Shelf of Shameful opportunity, but I don't think all of these are new, are they? No.
They're not all new. So normally in our Shelf of Shameful opportunity, we talk only about new games to us. But we thought we'd just talk about what we've played. It's been kind of a tumultuous few months. So we haven't done a lot of videos. I've been in and out of the hospital. We've... I don't know. I had Lyme disease, which didn't involve going to the hospital.
We got dogs. My dad was with us for a while. I mean, it's been chaos.
So we did introduce the dogs in our last video.
We did. You're right.
So we got one video in, but since then, I don't. Was that after Lyme?
No,
that was before Lyme disease, and then I got Lyme disease, and then I got a couple weeks off, and then I was in the hospital, and I had sepsis. So still sort of fighting that a little bit, but yeah, we're here, we're able to do videos, so let's do it.
Yeah. And I just want to say I love my shirt, and this is from, believe it or not, a very, very large conference of waste haulers, and they have a little food waste reduction portion of the conference, and since I'm in food rescue, I go to that. That's why I have the trash shirt on. I love it very much.
It's not a label.
It could be. I mean, that's what I love about it. It's ambiguous. What is it? Okay. On to the board games.
Yeah, so first we're going to talk about a board game that is new to us.
Yep.
And we played this at 2-player and 4-player.
Yep.
And it's Tofu Shifu.
Yes.
We were very excited to play this because a board game about making tofu.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We're in.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we have two people that we regularly play games with now who are also vegan, and we decide what game we're going to play. We just let them pick. It's so much pressure off our shoulders, and they thought this sounded really great, and so did we. So we tabled it, and we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's worker placement. It's got an interesting mechanism where if you place a worker on somebody else who already has a worker in a location, you have to pay a little more to use that location, but you can still use it. But once there's like 2 workers, it's blocked. But there's another location you can go to and do any action at any blocked location. So it's kind of interesting how it works. The board's really pretty, but some of the art runs in from one location to another. Yeah. Which I find a little bit less than ideal.
Yeah, it's a little bit non-intuitive what each section does. And I'll say it plays very differently at 2 than it does at 4 because of that mechanism.
Yeah.
At 2, I don't think there was really ever a time where I was desperate to get in a spot that somebody else was in.
It could use a slight tightening at 2, like in terms of the spaces, so that that mechanism makes more sense. The one thing I will say is because of the art, the way it flows in from space to space, the player aid was very useful. And there was a player aid, so that was useful.
Yep. It's really, not only does it have worker placement, but it has pretty fun card play. You can sort of power up based on the cards that you're collecting and putting into your tableau. So, would you call that a tableau?
Was it a tableau builder?
Not quite a tableau. Not really. But you're putting them on your board.
You do. It's sort of a little bit of an engine builder.
Yeah.
In a sense that kind of like Wingspan, where it's a bit of an engine builder, but not a huge engine builder. But it doesn't work as like you add cards to your board, which allows you to produce a bit more, and
which is really important because as things get more expensive, they are more points. And so you want to have that revved up production. That's something I really like in a game where it has, I mean, I love the mechanisms. I love worker placement. I love engine building. I love tableau building. A game that goes all in on one of those is great. It's so fun. It's immersive. But it is also kind of neat when you have a game that just has a little bit of engine building and a little bit of, well, this has a lot of worker placement, but it has a little taste of those other mechanisms. I think that's really nice. It kind of adds a little like seasoning to the game.
Yeah, it almost has a little bit of deck building in the sense that you have your hand and you kind of like, you discard your cards, but you get them back later. But then you have a hand limit. So if you have more cards in your discard than your hand limit, you can only take some of them back. So it's not really a deck builder, but it feels a little bit like one.
But again, that's that like it's like a spice in a recipe, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's not a entirely one flavor, right? It's got all these little elements of it, and I think that makes it a really nice game. It ups the complexity just a little bit. It makes it a little bit more thinky. The strategy is a little bit more complex than it is in a straight, you know, mostly one mechanism game. So really, and the theme was lovely. I mean, it's just so unique. There's so few games about tofu. Maybe there's one more. I don't know. Are there any others?
There's others, I think, but there's not a lot.
There's not a lot. And so when you have, you know, a million games featuring dragons or fighting monsters or whatever, which I love, it's nice to have a game that is.
I feel like one of the other games about tofu is a micro game, but I can't think of what it is right now.
Yeah, me neither.
But yeah, so it's neat.
Yeah,
we liked it a lot, and I think our friends who we played it with liked it too.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. All right. The next one is Dead Men Tell No Tales.
And we've played this one more on BGA than in person, but we did play it in person.
Yeah, we were playing it on BGA. I had no idea what was going on. I was like just random clicker club. We had to play it in person for me to really figure out what the mechanisms of the game were.
Yeah, and it worked. I mean, we played in person. We did play one rule wrong, and we did win in our first game. And then we mostly played on BGA since then, and mostly lost. And then it's funny, I played a bunch of team game, it's a cooperative game, so I played a bunch of games with other people on BGA. I didn't win until I played solo.
Yeah, I feel like the two of us, when we played in person, did better. Our win rate was a lot higher than it is when we play with more people online, which probably means it's a game that benefits from having more people, because you don't want those games to be super easy. I don't want a co-op game that I'm going to win every single time. That's just not super fun. So we did not play it with more players in person, but I think it might benefit from it.
It might, but I think what really benefited in person was the conversation. The communication.
Yeah.
And so like we coordinated at a higher level. And so we've been doing real-time games with friends online on BGA. And we won a couple there too, more recently. And the games we've won, I think, are all consistently high communication.
Yeah.
So it's a tough game, I think, but I think high communication is the solution. And the other thing that we were doing poorly at first was you have to collect a certain amount of treasures and get out, but in the meantime you fight skeleton crew, you fight regular crew. The regular crew give up the treasures, the skeleton crew give up grog or cutlasses that help you get stronger. You fatigue, and then there's like what they're called deckhands that are populating through the boat. If you get too many of those, you lose. And it's a pirate game, in case we haven't said that, but the games that we've won, and we weren't doing well early on, was being really aggressive once we could get the treasures at chasing them and getting them off the boat.
Yeah.
Because you have to get 4 or 5, depending on your difficulty level, off the boat. Right. And once we refocused on that a little better, we did better.
It's that balance of, you can't let the fires get out of hand. You can't let the deckhands get out of hand. But at the same time, you also can't spend all your time just focusing on, literally focusing on putting out fires, right? Because you have to get the treasures and get them off the boat. So I think, again, it's kind of finding that right balance.
Yeah, and I think the solo game I won, that first one, I got the deckhands under control early. So I was able to just put out a few fires here and there, but focus on the treasures and stuff. Yeah. And I actually just ignored the deckhands for the second part of the game because I had them so under control.
Yeah.
I almost lost because of them, because while I was ignoring them, they kind of ballooned. Yeah. But because I had them so under control early, I was able to just focus on the treasures and win. Yeah. Yeah.
So and I think this is another game in line with Pandemic or Forbidden Desert or something like that, where, it's a co-op game. You're trying to keep things from getting out of hand while you fulfill your win conditions. So, but it's fun. It's well done. The theme makes it.
The theme's great.
Yeah. The theme's,
Arg, matey.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Theme is good. Yeah. So we really enjoyed it.
Yep. All right, so next up is not a new game to us, but it felt like new because it's been years since we played, and it was before I got sick, and I just didn't remember the game very well. But it used to be in my top 5 games of all time, and it may be going back there close, and that is Lisboa from Vital Lacerda, and this is, of course, one of the heavier games we have. I think a 4.62 difficulty or complexity on BGG.
Like I know the first time we played it, I was a newer gamer. I wasn't new by any stretch. I was a gamer, but it was...
You were pretty new.
It was... I had trouble with it. I did not know what was going on. I was holding on by the seat of my pants. And it felt much more... I felt much more in control this time.
Yeah.
I knew what I was doing. I was able to plot out a strategy and execute it. So for me, it was way more enjoyable this time than last time.
Yeah, and we played at 2 and 4 as well. And obviously the first 4-player game was pretty long. But I think if we played again at 4, it would go much quicker because the 2-player games went much quicker when we played again. And we're very excited that it's on Tabletopia, so we can keep playing it on the regular. I'm going to try soloing it sometime and stuff like that because Lisboa is a fantastic game.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
It's so good. It's got a great theme, first of all, the whole background of Lisbon being hit by earthquake, tsunami, and fires. And then it has rubble, and the rubbles match the different, so like the white rubble is the earthquake rubble, the red rubbles from the fires, and the blue rubbles from the tsunami. And then you use that rubble to rebuild the town. So you're rebuilding Lisbon, and this is back in the 1700s. And
much like every Lacerda game, it's very complex, but also very thoughtful. The streets are designed to mirror what Lisboa looked like at that time, the street grid, and it's chunky. It's a chunky monkey. One of the things that's interesting to me about Lisboa is each turn is tight. You're not doing a lot on any turn. There's no like some games you're like, you build an engine or you work your way towards like killer turns where you do 27 things. That does not happen in Lisboa. Every single turn is a very, very tight, controlled, narrow action that's building towards the next tight, controlled, narrow action. In a very complex game where you want to do a lot of different things. And so it's figuring out the order for all of those like mini steps to get to where you want to get.
But I'll tell you what, you do feel like you do a lot because you can follow other people's actions. And so I think when you invest in the royal favors to follow, and then like sometimes like you're following and you kind of have this biggish turn for Lisboa, and you build a shop or something, and then it's your turn.
Yes, especially with 2.
and but also with 4 because so anyway, like
and so
then
it feels like
you kind of go back to back, and that's really nice. That works.
Yeah,
that feels very high satisfaction level on those kind of turns.
Well, and I think that's part of the I feel like that's kind of the trick with Lisboa is that to get the really powerful action, it is if you want to do a lot, you have to follow, right?
Right.
Or do something like take a clergy turn that gives you extra bounce. But those turns to be able to do that feel so thin, right?
Right.
If you're taking a turn and you're just, I'm going to get a favor. And that's it. But you need that to follow somebody.
Usually you can do 2 things.
Right. But
usually.
But the other thing on that track is clergy, and that may also feel like not much of a turn depending on what you get from the clergy. Yeah. Right? Or
but the
you
clergy can be powerful because there are powers that you could use the rest of the game.
And that's the trick. So once you fill up your 4 clergy spots, you can't discard or add any more until there's a clergy scoring, right? And so in my head, especially the first game, I was like, well, I don't want to take extra clergy tiles because I don't want to fill up my space with nothing. and I didn't realize that you actually want to churn through those.
Yeah, you want to do the clergy scoring because the clergy scoring gives you influence and gives you points.
Right.
So it's actually quite valuable to do.
And so there's just a lot of things in this game like that at first blush seem narrow,
right,
or less exciting, or maybe I'm just going to skip that because it doesn't seem like it's a lot of power, and I'm going to do this thing over here which is very directly influencing me getting to my goal.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? And so it's very easy to go astray and to just focus on those building your shop, getting the resources you need to build a shop, right? But it will take you twice as long if you don't take that turn that feels meaningless in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Right. And so you kind of, that's I think one of the things with Lacerda is figuring that out, is how to.
Our dog's making noises.
He's like, shut up. Let's go downstairs so you can pet me. But I think that's the trick with a lot of the Lacerda games is it's just, they're very complicated. Each single step is simple and obvious, but how they fit together and how to maximize the way they fit together, that's where the game lies.
And I will say that it's got like the 10, 12 page player aid, which seems overwhelming, but
it's a pamphlet.
Well, first of all, it's essential, but second of all, it actually ends up not being that overwhelming and just being super useful, and you use it the whole game.
Yep.
And you're constantly referencing it, and it's awesome.
I don't think I've ever used a player aid as much as I do.
Exactly.
In this game.
It's really well designed. So what a great design, what a great game, great theme, great gameplay, and so Lisboa is a winner here. So
absolutely.
We did just table for future reference Weather Machine. So that'll be in a future video.
Yes, we're excited to play that.
Now, another game that we've played before
is Ostia.
Yep.
Yes, we've played Ostia. I don't remember when we first played it, but it's a 2022 game, so it had to be after 2022. Yeah. And we got it back to the table with our friends. So we played it at 2, we played it at 4, we played it with expansions, we played it without expansions. Yep. We played a lot of Ostia.
This is what I wish was online. I don't think it is anywhere, but
yeah. So the thing about Ostia is it has a Mancala.
Yeah, it's a Mancala auction system, a bit like Trojan, if you've ever played Trojan.
And these are borderline maddening, and I love it.
We literally sat there the whole game, and we even have a photo of this of our friends, because they're like this, and they're muttering.
The entire
themselves,
game.
The whole game.
Okay, if I do this and then I do that, I've got 4. How do I get to that spot? I can do that 3 turns from now. It's that Mancala action is so interesting. It is so brain burny, because basically what you do is you have it's a little different than the Trajan Mancala. So you start off and you've got these ships that are in these sections of the port. Wherever you move your ships from, there's an action or a resource associated with that, and you get that resource. Then you move your ships and you drop one ship into each Mancala, and you do the action in the final section that you land your last ship in, right? So trying to set up a future turn where you can get to do the action you want to do is just, I don't even know. I don't have words for it.
A lot of times you're having to pivot. Like, I can't do what I want to do, so I'm going to go with plan B or plan C. And then you want plan B or plan C to not just be like, oh, that was an okay turn. You want every turn to be a good turn. And so, and that's a little bit different than Lisboa in that sense. Like, you can have these monster turns in Ostia. And one of the reasons is there's this administrative action. And if you finish your boat on the administrative action, you get to do 2 actions again or something, or 1.5. It's it's a whole thing. So it kind of dominoes, and you can have these really killer turns. And it's a high point score. I think in the last game, I broke 400 points. There were a lot of points on the board.
Yeah.
And you had 370. And
yeah. Well, and it's interesting too, because what you're trying to do is, build ships, right? Build buildings and move along the path in Rome, right? Yep. And as you go, you get extra favors by as your ship moves past something, you get the favor. If you land on something, you get an action or a power or something. It varies, right?
Bonus or
yeah. And then you build buildings, and if you build a building on a spot on the board, you then have that power available to you whenever it triggers. So it could be like trade goods at a better rate.
Yeah, it's a trade action thing, and one of the 6 actions you could do is a trade action. If you do a trade action, you could trigger any buildings that you build. So it's really good. And then on top of all this, so we have all this going on, and we played again with all the expansions.
All of them.
The Pirates expansion, there's a couple of mini expansions. We had them all in play. And they really revved up the game.
They did.
I really like the Pirates expansion a lot. It had some modular stuff. It added like these, so you have these monuments you can build, and you put them on your board and get powers from them. But this gave you an alternative way to use them. You can put them on the city board and whatever. And then alternatively, you were also fighting pirates to move further down the tracks. And when you defeated a pirate, you got a treasure chest. And when you got treasure chests, they were worth gold and or points, depending, points at the end of the game, gold during the game. And then if there were also these additional goals during the game where if you met them, you got, certain benefits.
It's another chunky monkey.
Yeah, it's a chunky monkey. It ends up being almost Lacerda Light.
Yeah, definitely.
When you incorporate all the expansions, and but it was really fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah.
I liked it with the expansions best, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I liked it without the expansions a lot. But to me, the expansions added a couple different directions you could go with your strategy. I think it's not to say that there was only one path to victory without them, because there are several paths, right? There's a couple different ways to get big points that you can focus on one over another. So, you do have choices to make, but you throw in those expansions and it's much more, feels much more like a playground. Like, what am I going to do?
I agree. I thought the base game on its own is just a touch linear, like kind of in a sense that you just one direction to go. Like, it's not true. There's a couple directions, but you know what I mean. Like,
it definitely is a little linear.
It's fairly linear, and I think the expansions do sort of expand upon that. The one thing that I would change in the game, if I were to change anything, is the game end trigger,
which we always have.
We always have issues about game end triggers, but in this one is basically there's like 6 in the expansion, 7 with the expansion conditions that could trigger like the end game, and any one of them will trigger it, and then it's like, and you don't play an additional round, you just finish that round,
which I hate.
It can be like really sudden, and
hate it.
So I kind of feel, and we didn't get to play with this enough, is that at least 2 conditions should be met in order to trigger endgame. Now, I know that creates some issues with the game where you can sort of max out on some tracks or something, but like on the...
Well, we did do that once, and we found that the second condition happened pretty quickly after the first.
Yeah.
But it gave you that
a little bit of warning.
Yeah, it gave you that warning, like, oh, okay, wait, I have to do my last action, the thing I've been waiting to do, that is going to, make sure that I get those points that I've been building towards. It gives you that chance to do that when you have 2. It might be literally the next round that it ends, because by the time you trigger one end game, everything's kind of reaching that point, but it just gives you that breathing room. And there's nothing I hate more than a game that just ends suddenly.
Yeah, I think the drawback to me would be that it in some games, with the wrong players, or maybe the right players, it's strategically smart. If you have a lead, it's strategically smart to trigger the end of the game.
Yeah.
And so you could just speed ahead and end the game on everybody. And I think that does a couple things for me, that even though that's a good strategy, it shortens the game and it takes away some of the fun, because you want to experience more of the game. Some people like shorter games, so maybe that works for them. But I kind of feel like if I'm really enjoying a game, I want a little more of it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I like about the way we play together and the way we play with Sasha and Adam is that people will say, like, I'm close to ending this. Are we okay with that? And somebody will say, oh, I need another round. And we'll go another round. Like, nobody is trying to like aggressively destroy your game. And hey, if that's the way you want to play and you enjoy it, go for it. But for us, that does not work.
We're just not cutthroat around here.
Just being that we take care of each other, you know. And not to say that people that play like that aren't taking care of each other. If that's what they like, that's fine. But it stresses me out, and to know that I don't have to be stressed about that adds to the enjoyment of the game. It ruins it if I'm anxious by the end of the game about when it's going to end. So so we definitely home ruled that. But it's a fantastic game.
Yeah, it's a great game. So I think because we played with the expansions and stuff and played with more players, my opinion of this game went up significantly from the first time.
Oh, me too. Absolutely. So. Yeah. And we got in a lot more plays of it too. That's one thing we've been doing because we've been playing with friends is we play it with 2 first.
And we get the rules down.
We get a couple games in, and then they come over and we play with 4. And so we get more plays in, which gives us a better idea.
Exciting.
I know, I love it so much.
It works.
Yay, we have gaming friends.
It's hard to find friends, especially friends who will play
Lisboa and are excited for it.
So that's very exciting for us. So, all right, well, so that's Ostia. Ostia was great. Now, another game we played for the first time, and we were pretty excited to get to the table. We went through, what we actually started to do is we started playing through the spans, and we played first through Finspan.
Yep.
And we
that
played
was new to us.
We do not have the expansion for Finspan at this point, so it's just base game. And we really liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was delightful. There are games where there's like, this is the hard version and this is the easy version, and I don't like the easy version. But I did not feel that was the case with Finspan. I really enjoyed it.
I felt like the actual engine building in Finspan is actually a little better than Wingspan. So even though it's a simpler game, I felt like that helps rev it up and make it feel not like less.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And there's a couple of neat mechanisms in it too. Like one of them, there's I think it's a power that lets you take back cards from the discard.
Right.
And I was like, and this is the thing with Wingspan, right? Is that if you can discard a card to trigger a power, but I don't want to get rid of that bird. I really wanted to play it. So what do? Do I trigger that power and get rid of that bird, or do I hold on to the bird and not use the power? With Finspan, you can discard the cards and then potentially get them back in your hand. And it's not, willy-nilly free-for-all, like, you can take whatever you want. It's limited, but it gives you that ability to really use those resources a little bit more aggressively.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with that. It's interesting. I really like it. I liked it so much, and it's not as good. I would definitely still put Wingspan up here and then Finspan there. Just a little more complexity and to grab you in Wingspan and birds. But I had this weird disappointment in Finspan. I don't know why. I got it in my head that Finspan was like a freshwater fish game.
Oh.
And it's not. But as somebody who worked on species conservation in a freshwater area, I was excited for that, and I got a little disappointed because it wasn't like that. But it's fine. It's great. That's just like my personal I wanted the blue-breasted darter in the game.
But I thought it was very neat that because it is not freshwater, right? It has the deep ocean. And so, you've got, again, very much like Wingspan, it is, appropriate to the species. And there are some that can only live in the top of the water, and there's some that can only live in the deep dark. And it's, and you're building an engine where when you dive down a column, right, because you're doing columns instead of rows, you're triggering powers as you go. So you kind of want to get the whole ecosystem filled in of fish.
It's nicely done.
Yeah, it's much quicker. It's very quick.
Yes, it is a quicker game too, which is if you're looking for a quick play of something. Now, I know Wingspan Pocket's just coming out, so that may be really the quick play of Wingspan. But, like a quick play alternative, Finspan fits that well.
I can't remember if we changed the ending on this one. Does it have the mechanism like Wingspan where you have less turns each round? I don't think it did.
I don't think it did, yeah.
I think it was already quick enough.
Yeah, so Wingspan, we kind of customized it where we don't use our action cubes to mark the end around goals. So we don't
keep them.
We keep them and we get more actions. Cheaters. We love
way more
it.
satisfying.
We get to fill out our aviary and we love that. So
yeah.
So, but after Finspan, we did break out Wingspan. Now we're not going to talk about Wingspan base game, but we played 2 expansions that we hadn't played before. First off is Wingspan Asia, and the real big difference is in Asia. We did not get to play the version for like 6+ players, so we didn't get to test that out. But we did test out. We just put it at 2, and we did test out the 2-player duet variation. And we kind of have mixed feelings on that, I think.
Yeah, I think the board is interesting. So basically what happens is you put like the yin yang, right, on your board, and every time you lay a bird down, you get that piece, and then you get to put it on another board that has rewards. And it has to be in the right habitat. So if you're playing a bird in the wetlands, it has to be sort of in the wetland area of that board.
Yeah.
And then there were goals depending on that board. Most of the end game goals, I think, were they all on that board?
I think they were mostly
round goals. I mean,
yeah, they were. I think they were mostly on that board, and but one of the big differences is that it was a majority all or nothing. So, you know, on in the base game of Wingspan, the round goal board has 2 sides, and one side is like up to 5, and the other side is sort of majorities. And we prefer the side that's just up to 5, and you can do as well as you can do.
right.
And it's not affected by how others are doing, which I think is the opposite of what most people prefer, but just based on my observations. But we just tend to prefer it that way, and then it's less aggressive player and player. And then, but with the Asia duet, they only give you the all or nothing option.
Right.
So you either win or you don't, and so you either get points or you don't. And we don't love that so much because, you know, it's like if the goal is something that, you know, we shoot for and she gets 5 and I get 4 and I get nothing, even though I'm, you know, we don't love that. So
no, and it changes sort of the strategy too of how you're going to play, because you're trying to beat out the other person to get any points at all, versus being like, okay, well, I'm only 1 behind them, you know, that's not going to make that big of a difference in final scores. It's a 1-point difference in final score versus a 5-point difference, like you just said. So but it changes then your strategy, so you've got to actually kind of take that into account.
Absolutely.
And I don't love that.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels a little less friendly. One thing I love about Wingspan is a lot of the powers are friendly. Like, here, you get to pick a food out of the bird feeder, but
everybody else does
too, but you pick who picks first. So you can sort of strategize around making sure you get the bird feeder reset before you go. Or if the food's already in there, you can go first and take what you want. So you have an advantage, but everybody gets a benefit. And there's other ones that, like, everybody gets a worm or you know, like stuff like that. And then like those abilities a lot. And I like, you know, I like things like oh, they went for eggs on their turn, so you get to benefit on your as well. And the round end goals and stuff like that. So yeah, I just I like all those different elements of Wingspan, and I do feel like the duet is a little less friendly and
it's a little more head to head.
It's a little more head to head, and makes it less collegial to me, I guess, is what I would say.
I would agree.
So, but anyway, next up we played Wingspan Americas, and this introduced a whole new thing with the hummingbirds, which was interesting.
Yeah. So the hummingbirds, what happens is, if you use a row, right? So you go to the food row and you get food, and then you move your bird through they're birds for us, your cube or your bird through the habitat, right? And you trigger the powers. When you get back to the sort of home base, right? There's a spot for a hummingbird. If there's a hummingbird there, it has to go away. If there's not, you get to bring one, and it gives you benefits. So you've got a hummingbird board. It can trigger going up on the hummingbird board. It can give you nectar or eggs, cards.
Eggs was super useful because if you didn't have a lot of eggs, but you needed food for to play a bird, you could do the food action, then bring in a hummingbird that gave you an egg, so that you can then play the bird on the next turn and not have to do an egg action first.
Yeah, same thing with, there were some of them that gave you nectar. And,
yeah,
you know,
nectar can be useful the same way.
Same thing, you get your eggs and use the hummingbird that gives you nectar, and you're good to go. So yeah, so we really liked it. Plus, I did not know there were so many types of hummingbirds.
Yeah, it's neat.
Very exciting.
And I like the one thing I love is, and Lisboa has this too, like it gives you the background of what happened in Lisbon, and like I like in the Wingspan games how it tells you, it explains through like why there's different classifications of hummingbirds and how they're different and stuff like that, and so that's neat in the rules. So I like that. But yeah, so that was really good. The only thing I'd say is I have not figured out how to maximize my hummingbird strategy yet.
Yeah.
After a couple of games. So I think that's something to figure out in the future. But I think the fact that it does give you another element of strategy is fun and just adds to the game.
Well, the challenge is you've got this board, and one of the actions a hummingbird can do is move up one of the pieces on that board, and there's I think 5 slots, and the first slot is -3. So if you don't get out of that -3 spot, you get -3 for every single one of those pieces, right? But then you get more points as you move up. So with it topping out around 10 or 12 points, I think. Once I got all of them out of the zeros or into 0, and I got one of them up to 8 points.
Yeah, I've never
That was the
done
best
that
I did. I just ignored all of the others.
Yeah, you kind of have to, I think. But
yeah.
I kind of wish I could move more of that board up, though. So.
Yeah, me too.
But anyway, the one thing it's not on our list I wanted to talk about was
the fan favorites.
The fan. So we've also bought. There's like 5 or 6. There's 6 fan made bird packs from Stonemaier. So we picked those up and then we played. What we actually did is we actually took all the other bird cards out because we had so many, and we played just with the fan birds, which I honestly, after doing it, I don't recommend. No. But that's how we did it.
Yeah, and it was a little. And the reason I don't recommend it is it was a little imbalanced.
Yeah.
And they're fan made, so you can tell that fans prefer. I forget what it was that I noticed.
Some of them are more powerful than the regular birds in the game, and I think they gave you too much power.
Yeah. So okay. If you play Wingspan, you'll appreciate this. The mouse one. There were several powers that were, if there's no mice in the bird feeder, you get something. Or reset the bird feeder. And if you don't roll any mice, you get something. Because we all have had that experience where we have the thing that says roll, reset, or roll those not in, and you keep any mice you get, and whoever gets a mouse. Now, meanwhile, I had 2 of those in the game that we played, and there was always a mouse in the damn bird feeder. Always.
So, and then I had my board. I finished the game with, I think it was 7 or 8 round end goals, which is totally imbalanced. You shouldn't see that many.
Yeah, exactly. So these are definitely meant to be integrated into the larger deck, not played in and of themselves. But they were fun.
But I got my highest score ever, so way to go, folks.
I did really well too, actually. I lost, but they were fun. They were delightful.
Yeah, they were fun. They were creative.
Yeah.
And they're sometimes they're like you were pointing out with the field mice, that they were kind of like what you always dreamed them to be. Like it was like one of them, what I had was really good. It was like, you have a bunch in the base game where you can play a second bird into the habitat. Well, this was the same thing, but then you get to put eggs on them. So it's like extra powerful, It
was like whatever your like nitpicky, annoying complaint about the game is, there's a card in there that probably addressed it. Yeah.
So it was fun. It was really fun. But I definitely recommend mixing them in with the base game cards to distribute them better. So that's
absolutely.
All right, so that's it for Wingspan. Next up, we played a game that was gifted to us, so thank you. And we enjoyed this very much. This was Doomlings.
Yes, and this is Susan from TN Games loves this game. She talks about it a lot. She's got a whole quiver full of cards. We just have the base game.
Yeah.
So it is one of, I think, her and Robert's favorite games.
Yeah, I think for the style game that it is, one thing that I actually really liked about it was there was a little bit take that, but there wasn't a lot of it. A lot of this style of game, which is kind of quick playing card game, have a lot of take that, and I like that it was just some take that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because we're just not big on take that, so like minimizing it's good. But the gameplay in general was it was quick and fun.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really did too. I'm trying to remember, this one was one of the first ones on this list that we played, and I'm trying to remember. There was something about it that I really liked, and I think it was that the cards help dictate your strategy, and so from game to game, it wasn't, it was not on rails. You basically looked at what your scoring cards were, and that helped dictate your game. So I mean, in that way it was on rails, but it's not like every single game is the same,
right? And then you did have, I mean, it was not like in a game that like you might see your scoring cards and be like, I'm going to lean towards this strategy, but you still had choices that are interesting and stuff like that. So it wasn't.
And I really love card drafting.
Linear per se.
Yeah, I really love card drafting in general. So I think this is a really great, quick little filler game or way to start off the night. If you like Take That, there's definitely some Take That in this.
There's a little bit in there.
Enjoy this probably quite a bit. I think if we liked Take That as a mechanism, we would love this game.
Even more, yeah. I think
absolutely.
We only played this at 2 so far, and I think this will really shine with some of our friends.
Absolutely.
So we're looking forward to playing it with more people.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like, if somebody else has this, do that type thing.
Which will benefit with more.
And also Take That is a little bit less problematic if there's like 6 people at the table and everybody's sort of evenly,
as long as somebody's not being picked on.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's where, Take That could be problematic, is if you have a 5-player game and everyone keeps taking that, stealing cards from the same person kind of thing,
Yep, absolutely.
So I'm not saying I have trauma from anything like that.
I think you have trauma from anything like that.
So
yeah.
So anyway, Doomlings was fun. We enjoyed it. I don't know a whole lot to say about it, but some of the scoring was interesting, how it worked, and sometimes you score based on what other people had versus what you had.
And again, that's where that like 6-player would be really interesting. When you start to get into the higher player counts, it would be a little bit more, because it's like pick one player and score based on. And if you're playing with one other person, that could be a real bust.
Exactly. Okay, so next up we have a game that we really only played once or twice, but I really liked it, actually. It's Awkward Guest 2.
Yeah.
We played it fairly recently, so it's fresh on our minds, but, sort of, because it was pre-hospital and stuff, but...
which wiped everything out.
First of all, we are really into murder mysteries. We like to create them in real life. Just kidding. No, we like to watch them on TV. We read murder mystery books. We, all that stuff. And so the theme of this is right on track with what we love. And I really liked the mechanisms of this game and how it worked for 2-player. You have to sort of set the deck at the beginning of the game, which is a thing, but like... I forget exactly how the setup worked actually now, but it sort of walks you through the setup steps. So that works fine as long as you just follow the steps. And then in the game, you kind of had quick decisions too. The big decision I thought that was interesting was at the end of every round, you kind of simultaneously decide, am I going to guess now, or am I going to continue trying to solve the crime?
And this led to one of the more exciting gaming moments for me. There have been many. It wasn't that big. But it's the type of moment I love in gaming where I wasn't quite sure who did it, but I really thought Jane knew. And I thought she was about to guess.
I was close.
And I was sure she was going to put her card down saying she was going to take a guess. And you get 3 guesses. So I was like, all right, I have to guess. Yeah. Like, I have no choice because it's the only chance I have. And she didn't guess. And I got it right, and I won the game, and it was one of those moments like I can't believe that just happened.
It's kind of neat though, because it's like Clue. You each have a crime you're trying to solve, and you know what the other person's trying to solve, but it's two different crimes. So you're both simultaneously trying to solve the crime that the other person's sort of managing.
Exactly.
And it's neat because that solves that issue of like, you know, like, oh, I want to guess what it is, and then you pull out the packet and you're wrong, but the game's basically over for you because, you know, whatever. Because the other person just tells you if you're right or wrong.
Yeah.
And then you either continue or you win or whatever. And so you're not eliminated from the game.
And that's also how I knew Jane was really close. I knew she had all the information she needed to guess. Right. I think she just, maybe there were like 2 possible choices, but I knew she had it.
I was close, but I needed a little more information, I think, in the room or something like that, the path.
And so we've been playing the first one on BGA, and it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure I even understand how it works, even though we've been playing it.
I've read the rules on that. It's a little different because it's more like Clue in a sense that there's one solution that everybody's working towards.
I really like Awkward Guess 2 better.
Yeah, I think
I like
so
the implementation a lot.
It's really nicely done. It's especially for 2 players. But you know, obviously the original played more people, so
yeah.
But yeah.
But definitely very fun. If you enjoyed Clue, but you want something a little bit more, I don't know, modern, and that plays well at 2, it's a great choice.
Yep. So thumbs up, I guess. The last thing we're going to mention is really kind of a total custom job. So we're just going to talk about it briefly. But for, I guess it was Christmas.
Yep.
I used. If you're not familiar, we'll put the link in the description of the video. But there's a tool someone made so you can make your own custom ticket to ride based on anywhere in the world. And so we used that. I used that, and for Christmas I made her we live in Pittsburgh. I made her a Pittsburgh ticket to ride. I even put our house on it.
I know, it's so great. I love it so much.
How fun is it that I could put our house on it as like a stop? Now, for some reason, and I didn't catch this until after I printed it, there's only one route to our house.
I mean, how many trains do you want going by your house, really?
Yeah. But, you know, for the game, it would have been nice to have
I'm joking.
4. So, but, yeah, so it was really, but we played this and it was fun.
It was fun, yeah.
The hardest part is getting we played it with like a 4, and it was definitely more of a 2 to 3 player game.
Yeah, it was very, very tight with
too tight.
With 4 players.
So
it's not as balanced or as like perfect and play tested as a full-on Ticket to Ride game, obviously. Yeah. That being said, what a delightful addition to your game table to have a Ticket to Ride custom about the place you live or somewhere that you love. What a great thing to have. So we also have the Christmas one too, which was a fan-made expansion. Yep. And to me, if you like the Ticket to Ride system, it's just such a wonderful, delightful addition.
Yeah,
way to play the game.
Nice. So I do recommend that if you're, you know, obviously it's a little more costly to get it printed right and everything.
It's a nice gift too for somebody.
It's a nice gift, yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that because it was something new that we played.
Yeah.
So so it was kind of our shelf of Shameful opportunity plus a couple games, but hopefully you enjoyed that. It was kind of a longer video. We've been gone for a while. But hopefully, knock on wood, there will be no more hospital trips. There'll be no more Lyme disease. There'll be no more of this crap because I'm sick of it.
It's been a year, folks. Man, the last six months and in 2 weeks have been something else. So we're done.
We're not out of the woods yet. I'm still on antibiotics, and we're trucking through. You know, yeah. So we'll have Weather Machine to talk about soon. I believe we're putting Regrowth on this table, so we'll be playing that. We'll also be trying out pretty soon the new Wingspan expansion.
Yep. Our annual play of Bastille.
Our annual play of Bastille is coming up for our anniversary, and yeah. So vive la France!
Vive la Revolution!
So
up with their heads.
Thank you so much for watching. We miss you all. And, you know, we really appreciate you, and we appreciate those of you that are still here.
Indeed. Thank you so much.
All right, have a nice day.
Bye.
Remember, every day that you game
is a holiday.
Almost forgot our tagline. All right, bye.